Welcome to Keiser Voices, the story of success, brought to you by Keiser University Graduate School, here where the academic world meets personal triumph. Join us today as we dive into the captivating tales of success.
Welcome back to another episode of Keiser Voices. We're excited today. We're going to do things a little differently. We want to take the opportunity to highlight one of our recent graduates. So joining us today is Miss Leslie Peters, who is a graduate from our Master's in Business Administration with a concentration in International Business, joining us all the way from Georgia. Also joining us is Dr. Desormoux, the Dean of Academic Affairs over our Business and IT and FinTech program. So thank you both for joining us this morning.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
And first and foremost, congratulations, Leslie, on finishing your program.
Thank you.
When you were looking for master's programs, what ended up making you choose Keiser as that opportunity for you to pursue that next step in your journey?
It was kind of like it just fell into my lap because I come from the area that I come from. There are a lot of private schools. There's a lot of universities. And this one, it just seemed like everyone in my family went to UMass and everyone's out there up north. And I said, it's cold. I need to go somewhere down south. I can't do the snow any longer. And somehow Keiser popped in, and Jackson University popped in, and a couple other universities popped in. But I said, I just ended up with Keiser. It just seemed to work, and it seemed to fit. And it seemed to be something that I could afford, something that it just happened. So I just went with it. I said no, and I'm staying with it because it works.
No, that makes sense. I'm over the snow myself. I'm from up north as well, so I hear you on that one. What was that deciding factor for you though? To say, hey, I need to go get my master's degree?
I'm always looking for information. I always feel like I never have enough information. I always am looking, searching. I like to research. I like to look into things, find out why this is, why that, because nobody wants to keep asking. Nobody wants to keep answering me. So what they're like, well, maybe you should go back to school, because that's something that your brain seems to need at this point. And I started school real late. I mean, I didn't go right after high school. I had some family going on, and my mom got real sick, and then it was my time. So that's when I went back to, it's like in my 50s, I think, when I went back. And I just feel like I just needed that information. You know how we have kids who are learning and they're like sponges, they absorb. That's how I feel like I am. A little late in life about it, but I feel like just all these things I needed to learn about the business world, about the world, other people, what they're doing, how they're thinking, why is this, why is that. So I just keep going.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience in the program?
It's great. The teachers, the professors, the instructors, they're all really guided. I felt like they've guided me very, very well. A couple times I had a little bump in the road there, typical college stuff. I didn't have the books, whatever, but it didn't matter because the professors got me through with their questionings and their structure, how to get to the next question, to get to be able to get me to write my papers. And I was surprised at that because I'm an older student and I'm not a book or anything, but the library you guys have is great. It's like my best friend. And like I said, the professors, they just guided me. I mean, everybody at Keiser has done, for me, a wonderful job. I really have to admit, you're like my best friends. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. They just really have done a really good job with me as far as like getting me through my master's. I mean, it got tough there a little bit where I was like, I'm not doing this, I'm done. And somehow they've kind of like, I don't know, they kind of got me through it and I finished. And I'm thinking about doing my doctorates.
Ooh, you got some big goals still coming for you. I want to talk a little bit about those bumps that you experienced during your program, if you're okay with it, because I know, the journey of somebody who's fresh out of high school versus somebody who takes a gap before going back to continue their education, although they both face challenges, I feel like some of the challenges that you face more as an adult can be vastly different from your fresh out of high school students. But don't get me wrong, they both have challenges.
Yeah.
But you faced some major challenges during your studies. How did you get through that?
I don't know. After I was diagnosed, I mean, I was in shock. I mean, because nobody expects to get cancer or any disease of any sort. But I was doing my thing, working, and I kept going to class. I kept up with my studies. But then that kind of held me back because then I had to get treatment. I was not able to. So I had to stop for a minute, a couple months, I believe it was in there. But I'm like, no, I have got to get back into it. And I just pushed. And I saw a lot of elderlies, people getting treatment. I'm like, these people are older than I am. And they're walking in and out of treatment. I'm like, I think I'm dying in the chair. And they're like, I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. And I'm quite sure I'm not the only person in school who goes through things, So I said, I am going to keep being perseverance, and I'm going to be strong about this, and I'm going to keep going. I hear people, well, I worked during my treatment, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going back to school too then. And then Keiser was able to also understood that where I was coming from. I said, I have got to take a break. I can't, but I'll be back. And they were really good about saying, well, when you're ready, we'll still be here. Even now to this day, I mean, I'm fine now, but even like to this day, we're still here. If you need support, come along. And there's always somebody here that can help you. And I really appreciate that.
That's amazing because, when you're going through these challenging times, you really end up relying not only on yourself, but those that are around you. And so you have your friends and family, but you also had your dean, faculty, staff, that who were familiar with your situation.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anyone, at Keiser who really had that big impact on you during that time that your go-to support person?
I would say I wouldn't really pinpoint anyone specific, but I would definitely say everybody, all my instructors that I have had, I feel like we had a really good rapport. They were really good about guiding when I got stuck. When you get older, you don't think, your brain is not as like young, but they have really supported and really got through. I mean, they are very articulate about how they do their job. They're very organized, their strategy works. I don't know, I just feel like everybody down to the financial aid office, the administrators, everybody deserves, if I could do it, I'd bring them all flowers. Take them all to lunch if I could afford it, but they definitely, all of them, everyone that I have spoken to has done a wonderful job there.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Dean Desormoux, hearing, Miss Peters share her story, and I know it's not the first time that, you've spoken with Miss Peters about her personal challenges in her program. What, stood out to you regarding her story? Because we wouldn't be able to connect with Miss Peters if it wasn't for you, introducing her to us. And I really would love to hear, your insights on that.
Yes, thank you. Well, the faculty and academic advisor in the program also speak very highly of Ms. Peters and what she was able to do in the program. And we actually discovered a little discrepancy in her schedule which led to trying to figure out her timeline for graduation. And we were able to resolve it quickly for her to help her get on track and to be able to receive her diploma and get everything together for her next steps. And what I think is unique is that even though we are an online program for the graduate school for the MBA that she was taking, she had that sense of connection and development with the faculty that were teaching her course, and the live sessions that happened once a week, whether she watched a recording or whether she attended in person. She still felt like a part of the Seahawk community, and we do have campuses, obviously, around the state of Florida and in Jacksonville, which is near where she's at. And we also have our flagship campus in West Palm Beach, which has our athletic programs, and our athletic teams travel to different places, and they actually play a lot of teams in Georgia. So I think some people get a little confused about the culture of an online program. And when you have on campuses and commuter campuses and a campus where there's activities and students actually live on campus, you can still live and breathe that same culture through our online environment. And our faculty do a really good job of trying to build those relationships with students. And if the book isn't there in time for them during week one, they're able to work with them step by step to say, all right, here's what we're going to do until your book and your materials, you receive them. And here's how we can help you with the material and the objectives for this week. And so having that personal attention, I think, is key to the component of what we do, as a Seahawk family. And, the ability to connect with our students and find out their whys and be able to help them. And sure, a lot of individuals did not know about the private situation that she was going through at the time either. We were able to work with her, but she did it herself. That's what I told her originally when we last talked, was that, you're thanking us, but this is your hard work and this is your journey, and you deserve what you have because you earned it. And so I think that's an important aspect of understanding that no matter if you're online or on campus, the Keiser community will embrace you, will help with your goals, and the faculty will lead you in the right direction based on what you're looking for. And if we're not the right fit, or we don't have the right program, or the resume isn't working for you, we can help guide you in that right direction, whether it's with us or whether it's with another program or whether it's a change of major. To us, your goals are what's important. You as the individual is what's important. And whatever we can do to help you take those next steps, we want to try to do.
And that Desormoux kind of leads me to my next question. I don't think the students really understand, the role of the institution in supporting them along their academic journey. Like, even if it's a personal or academic issue, Miss Peters had, I want to say, Miss Peters, that you had the misfortune, but also were fortunate to learn about that role. Like, I would not have wished for you to have gone through the challenges that you did, but in doing so, I think it really changed your mindset about where the institution fits in your journey. And Dr. Desormoux, I don't know if you could just, for students who are listening or future students that are listening, kind of maybe expand on what you were saying about that support during challenging times.
Right, definitely. Communication is key. And so when a student reaches out and says, I need help, that's not a sign of a weakness, at all. And some students perceive it that way. What it is it's an opportunity to continue to build a stronger relationship with the faculty member and to help bridge that gap of whatever is the confusion or the clarification of what's needed. No matter how small that question may be, it's so good to get it out there and have those conversations, especially if you can do it in real time. And our faculty are good at booking a Teams call like this, doing something virtual, or picking up the phone and talking to a student. It doesn't have to be through an email trail back and forth. You can get on the phone, you can get on a virtual call, and you can be able to speak to them and be able to get that clarification. And 99% of the time, that shows that you care. And when you care deeply about your education and your objectives, that faculty member is going to take the time to respect your question and what it is that you may need so we can figure out the best path forward. And I think that, Heather, you bring up an excellent point that some students shy away from that experience. And that's one of the things that makes Keiser a little bit different too, is, we have the discussion boards where everybody participates. We have the live sessions that we invite students to. So even in our online programs, it's hard to hide in the back of the classroom. It's hard for the faculty not to know your name. We try to make sure that we treat you by name as an individual and what you're trying to do rather than a number that's out there. We try to keep our classes as small as we can. I'm sure that she could speak to the fact that she may have had classes with 5 or 6 students and she may have classes with 23 students. It really just depends on the nature of the schedule and where you're at, but we try our best to make sure that our faculty can build those relationships and can help the students with their goals. So what I would say is definitely, no matter how small or big you think the question is, just ask the question, and you can ask it privately. You don't have to ask it in front of the class. You can speak to the professor on the side, but that's going to show that you care, and it's going to show that you value what is going on. And then we can be able to provide that clarification. And if that clarification is not there, we have next steps. And sometimes another voice is helpful. We have our program leaders. We have an academic advisor that works with the faculty that also teaches in the program. We have a department chair of the program, and then we have deans that are available. And so everybody is accessible when there's clarification or there's points or there's help or support. At any given time, we can be there for somebody. And we all have, links where you can click on our calendar to schedule a time that's convenient for you. We try our best to accommodate students' questions the best way we can in a virtual environment. And I really pride our faculty on taking the time to support our students with that.
Thank you. So I have a final question, and I really want to ask the same question to both of you, because your answers, although it's the same question, are going to be vastly different because of your perspectives and your roles at the institution. So my final question, and Ms. Peters, I'd kind of like to start with you, is what message would you guys give to students who may feel like they're giving up, or that it's just something very difficult and overwhelming right now, whatever is going on in their personal journey? But what message would you share to students?
I would tell them to keep going. Education is so important. I mean, the journey is worth it. I mean, they're always going to run into something. There's always going to be some traumatic something in your life, rather if you get sick or someone passes, or, you just kind of have to push through it. Maybe you need to take a break, but I would not give up. I would definitely not give up. I mean, you have to follow your dreams and follow what your heart says. The break is welcoming, but jump right back in it, because it is so important to get the education that you need and that you want, or you wouldn't apply it, or you wouldn't be applying yourself. I know just out of being late, and I've had other, stuff going on too, and I just kept pushing through it. I'm quite sure your psychology department must have wondered, who's that girl in that class? But I pushed through it, and I made it. And if I can do it at my age, all the rest of the students can. And anyone who's coming in can.
Thank you for sharing that. And before I forget, I do and ask Dean Donald to also for his perspective on that. How are you doing with your health?
Oh, I'm fine now. I'm fine. I excuse me. I work a little part-time job while I was in class. I was finishing up my MBA. And looking for now, working on my resume with the school so that I can look for something more. Now I want to be able to share the information that I have received from Keiser and what they've taught me and how they've guided me so that I can go out and share the rest of the information that I know with others in the business world, because they need help out there.
Thank you for sharing that. And Dean Desormoux, same question for you. What message would you give to students who feel like giving up?
Right, definitely. And it's cliche to say, right? I mean, everyone says that, you know, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And so there's going to be challenges, there's going to be roadblocks, there's going to be obstacles, and not everybody's decision to do something is the same. So I'm going to steal a little bit of Heather, of your words here for a moment. I'm going to rephrase it a little bit. I think reconnecting with your why, reminding yourself why you got started for something in the first place. Was it a career growth? Was it a personal growth? Was it an example for your family? What is it that you're going to revisit that understands your purpose and that's going to fuel your ability to push forward? Because at the end of the day, there is going to be an obstacle. Something's going to come up. Not everything's going to be the perfect pathway. I mean, you're going to have to reconnect with your why and your vision for yourself, because everybody can create a goal, but not everybody can achieve that goal. So when your goals can turn into commitments, that's a powerful inspiration that keeps you going. So when things get tough, break things down. If it's a big task, figure it out into smaller, different pieces, right? How can you celebrate the small wins? Whether it's you have 20 classes in your program and you're going to celebrate each class and you're going to mark it down, you're going to have their countdown. So whether you're using Post-it notes or a vision board for yourself, when you finish that one class, take that 20 down, you're down to 19. Create those meaningful moments to celebrate your success and keep your momentum going for yourself for why you're doing what you're doing. And at the end of the day, you may not have a support system. Not all of us have family and friends and individuals that are here for us every single day. So we do have our Keiser community. You do have your classmates. You do have your professors. You have mentors within the Keiser system. So don't feel like you're alone any step of the way. Online education, you can sometimes feel isolated, but you can still get involved. We have many events that our student services team puts on, whether they're virtual, whether they're on campus, whether they're in the community. I mean, Kaiser had a day at the Capitol in Florida. So there's so many different things. If you follow us on social media, our athletic programs, all the different things that are going on, that's how you stay motivated. That's how you stay connected. And so, yes, our time is precious, right? It's valuable. Time is not something that we get back. And if you're struggling with your time management, you got to figure out a routine for yourself, because you got to believe in it. You got to figure out what's best for you. So if you can break things down, get a good routine. I always tell students, if you can at least start off doing every other day with a little bit at a time in your coursework, you'll be successful. You'll find ways to be resilient. And then once you're in your program and you're halfway through, maybe then you can take a step back and say, all right, I can do this now 3 days a week because I have my routine. I'm in it. I know what I'm doing it, and I'm owning my why, and I'm here doing what I can do. So everybody's reasons are different, right? But build that support system, break it down, and revisit your why when you need to. But when you're having those doubts and you feel like you're down for the count, call us, call your Keiser support, call your faculty member, call Heather, our director of student services, call one of your deans. We will be there to talk you through what it is that we can do to help you. And it may mean, like Ms. Peters said, it may mean taking a small break for one class and bouncing back the very next term. Or it may mean that we're able to give you an extension for 2 or 3 days that will help you get to that next moment to be right back on track. So again, we're here to support, and I think that's what's important, is that every student's journey is different, but the strength that the student possesses is what's key to the results of what they earn.
Yep. And that's fantastic explanation from the administration side point. I'd like to thank you both so much for being part of this conversation, especially you, Ms. Peters, and sharing your journey with us and the challenges that you face. You're definitely an inspiration for other individuals at the institution, whether it's a student, or staff, or faculty. We're very grateful for you taking the time to have this conversation today, and Dean Desormoux for joining us.
You're welcome. Without you guys, I wouldn't have made it. So thank you for being there.
Thank you for all your hard work, and we look forward to supporting you with your next steps.
So much. You guys have a good day.
And thank you all for joining us and hearing this inspirational story. If you've enjoyed today's podcast, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thank you for journeying with us today on Keiser Voices, the story of success. As we close this chapter, remember, every story has its next page.